I don't feel tardy. Hello, boys and girls. You are now watching Peter's Raw recap. I apologize for the delay, but I wanted to see my Carolina Panthers go to 7-0 against the Indianapolis Colts. And it was a scary one. We had the lead for a while, and we ended up going into overtime. Some real bullshit. Shula and Rivera went back to their old ways, but we pulled it out. I just finished watching Raw, and I can honestly say that, man, this is the second week in a row that we got a good show. Like, a good show. You know, no need for the complaining, the bitching and moaning. And maybe because it's set up, like last week was set up around one thing. You know, it was set up around a collective of things that sort of the payoff was at the very end rather than focusing on one individual shooting at the same goal. This one was, the Fatal 4-Way, which was a tournament to that Fatal 4-Way. And then this was basically a gathering of a 5-man Survivor Series style match as a payoff, and the gathering of those guys, and the things in between was pretty good as well. We got a Fatal 4-Way for the Divas for the number one contendership, and yeah, it flowed really well. Good promos and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this week they're in Denver. In Denver, they just went 7-0 as well, so it's a good place to be. And it starts off with Roman Reigns, and he comes in, and I'm never really looking forward to Roman Reigns cutting a promo. Just not. I'm just not in a style where he has to sort of stand in the middle by himself and just say whatever the hell is written for him. I'm not a fan. I don't see him improving. I think he hit his wall. He's hit his wall for now for his presentation and how he wants to speak. And he's talking about, he starts off with the cheap Denver pop. And he basically shoots on Seth Rollins until he shows up. And Rollins basically talks down to him, laughs at him, like, you trying to do what no one's ever done. And then he talks about, how he's been watching him and his way to the championship and the beatdown he took from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and how he cashed in and basically spoiled the show to become World Heavyweight Champion. And then Reigns calls him out. He's like, well, bring your ass to the ring. Until he starts to walk down, and he stops, and then he continues to walk down until the Authority show up. That's Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And they proceed today they ate their heel cereal, because rather than placating to the crowd and pandering, they decided to bury Denver. And I'm just like, oh boy, another flip-flopping of the damn Authority. You know, their faces when it's convenient, and then their heels when they're convenient. And then after a while, like the month of October, they just used it as an opportunity to be faces to promote their Susan G. Komen partnership. So maybe now that Susan G. Coleman's gone, and they can just proceed to being assholes. So I don't care which way they go. I just say stay with it. Stay with one thing. And now that, I guess, again, Susan G. Coleman's gone and they can just be asshole heels, just stick to it. Don't run down the heels and talk down to the other heels. Just be an asshole to the baby faces. Be an asshole to the city. Whatever. Well, anyway, rather than they teased them with the idea of the match, actually the match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That's how they shot down Denver. But, we're gonna have it here of all places. It's a mile high, but y'all must be high. Some bullshit that they were just talking shit about the city. They said, well, what we're going to do, though, is because Survivor Series is in 2 weeks, which seems like, man, like we just had a pay-per-view, that we're actually going to set the main event to a a 10, how would I say? A 5-on-5, that's it. A 5-on-5 Survivor Series style tag team match. And both Seth and Roman have to go and find 4 other people that are gonna compete with them. The first match we get is Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler at this time is in a feud with Tyler Breeze, the NXT upstart, and something that's been happening every time they've encountered is that Tyler Breeze just goes to goes to Dolph Ziggler's ass, and the last time they met, he went after the knee, and he really brutalized the knee, and this is what Kevin Owens focused on the entire match. And Dolph sold that fucking knee. He couldn't run the ropes. He's hobbling around to different moves, this, that, and the other. At one point, the momentum shifts when Dolph Ziggler gets Owens in a DDT, that flying DDT, and Owen rolls out the ring. But Tyler Breeze shows up with Summer Rae. So here we go, to work out this feud they got going. They go to commercial break, and the VIP section is returned, and has returned, and Summer Rae and Tyler Breeze are sitting in this VIP section as they watch the match and taking selfies of themselves and each other. Kevin Owens proceeds to work the knee, and there's a momentum shift to Dolph Ziggler, but Tyler Breeze stands up and he starts taking a selfie of himself in front of the ring while the match is going on, and that's a distraction to Dolph Ziggler as he tries to kind of swing at him, but then he runs into a pop-up powerbomb, losing to Kevin Owens to the pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2, 3, get the fuck out of there. As Dolph Ziggler lays in the middle of the ring, Tyler Breeze looks like he's going in to pick the bones, but in fact, he's just taking a selfie with them as he's laid out. And Dolph gets a lick in, looks like he's going to, get payback finally. But nope, he gets dropped again. And he's dropped for good. And it's safe enough for Summer Rae to come in and take the selfie shot with Breeze and Dolph. And that's how that segment ends. Because he hits him with a beauty shot, by the way. That's how he takes him out. But and through the night, because they're trying to build up excitement for the Survivor Series, they go through different segments, different years, from the first ever Survivor Series to the last, Survivor Series. They picked 5. And they went through like a timeline and then what Survivor Series match happened. I'm not going to go through that. I just want to say, the Raw general manager, he hits me every time. Anyway, I don't even want to really go through it. I just wanted to let you know that through the show, they would do these segments. But what happens after they do that little recap of, I think it was like 2005, sorry, not 2005, the first one, which was Team Steamboat versus Team Honky Tonk. Kevin Owens is in the back. He has the belt. He's just whooped up on Dolph Ziggler's ass, and Rollins rolls up on him, basically invites him to join his match, but join his Survivor Series team. Tonight's 5-man elimination team, and he basically convinces him to join by promising him a WrestleMania World Heavyweight title shot. That's how he gets him on board. Here we go. Just a silly notion, because why you're going to toy with the storyline of Kevin Owens actually wanting to get a WrestleMania heavyweight championship shot when we all know it's not going to happen. I understand it's a ruse, and I know that would be the only way to convince him, but still, it was just like an eye roll moment. But Owen agrees, and he goes, "Remember, you owe me one." And then we immediately go to Young in the back with Becky Lynch, and she talks to her about how she feels about going into the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership. And all Becky wants to talk about is how she just wants to get her hand on Paige. Because, in fact, this Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership features Becky Lynch, Paige, Brie Bella, and Sasha Banks. So as she's talking about how she wants to get her hand on Paige, Becky Lynch that is, Brie Bella rolls up and is like, all right, whatever, bitch. I'm going to win this Fatal 4-Way. Another eye roll moment. Next match is Cesaro versus The Miz. Cesaro finally gets a win, guys. He gets a win. I repeat, Cesaro gets a win. It's a great performance by Cesaro. Uppercuts everywhere, just athleticism and technical ability and just good stuff. This was a good match because Miz, again, to me, the most effective heel in the company, is not only selling really well, but he's also healing it up and playing dirty to give Cesaro the heat. It results in a 25 rotation big-ass Cesaro swing into the sharpshooter. Cesaro gets the win. Miz taps. Can't be happier than that. The second hour starts off with the Wyatt family and Bray cutting a promo on how he basically has eaten the souls of The Undertaker and Kane. And it's it's probably one of his best promos to date because it's very accomplished. He feels that he has abducted both Kane and Undertaker. He doesn't want their bodies, he wants their souls. And the fact that he has swallowed and eaten their souls, that he's obtained all their power. And there's a sequence where he's like, I've obtained the thunder, and the thunder starts to go off, and I've obtained the lightning, and you get like lightning flashes and Kane's fire coming up, and it's just a really cool spot, because you're convinced that he's actually has the souls. Because we're like, well, where are they? Where are they? What's going on? Do you really have them? Do you not have them? He has Kane's mask, but we really don't know what's happened to the Undertaker. But sure enough, when that lightning flash and you saw Kane's pyro, you just go, wow, okay, so this is going to make for an interesting fucking storyline because, what now? Because if he has possessed, he's all of a sudden like fucking Highlander and shit, and he's absorbed all their energy, and he summons that shit right in front of us. It just goes to show, like, okay, let's see how this plays out. Yeah. So, and that's what that promo was about, and we just wait and see what happens moving forward in terms of Bray Wyatt's dominance, and the Wyatt family dominance over the roster and what he's going to do next. We get the Lucha Dragons versus... Oh, yeah, before that, though, they show, like... After the first part of his promo, they show, like, a bunch of highlights and clips of the Taker and Kane, and then it kind of gets sucked into a hole to sort of represent the fact that their souls have been sucked out of their bodies or whatever. And then, that's how shit ends with the lightning and the thunder as the Wyatt family stands strong in the middle of the ring. Next match is Lucha Dragons versus Barrett and Sheamus. And again, I really love the tag team tandem of Barrett and Sheamus. And goddamn, has the Lucha Dragons been showing their ass. They've been killing it between Sin Cara and Kalisto. Those guys are fucking doing the damn thing. From last Monday, remember, they won that four-corner tag team match, And then this match, they win. They win this match with a sick Selena Del Sol on Barrett as he avoids the bull hammer. They both kick ass. Now we go, well, where the hell is Rusev? Rusev is injured again. He has a bicep injury. He basically has the same thing that Eric Rowan had, where the muscle has fallen off the bone. He actually has clips on YouTube and apologizing, not YouTube, but on Instagram or Twitter, talking about, I apologize that my arm apologizes that it's whatever about holding the muscle on the bone. My bone is so big or whatever the fuck ever. But he's gonna be out for a while, which definitely alters that dynamic. If you're gonna go with 3-man teams, it's probably to me the most intriguing of them all, because they're all three of them are champions, and they all have had pushes to a certain degree, but they've been in like this weird clusterfuck limbo, and now they're together and they make a powerful force once you think about it. I mean, once you think, if you let's just say that Rusev never got hurt, and something like that. A dream match for me would be the Wyatts versus Barrett, Wade Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev. That would actually be a really good match. I would really like to see that. Heel versus heel, I don't care. It would be a badass match. But Rusev's gone, and that was just all fantasy booking. Pay that shit no mind. I was just saying I would like to have seen that. But Rusev's going to be out for a while, so it's just going to be the two of them. And for the both of them to go down to the Lucha Dragons, I mean, I'm fine with that. But man, you would think you would have put them in front of someone else to sort of get some wins and let it. Well, if they've gotten wins, never mind. It's their time. They'll pay no attention to me. Just keep watching the video. But anyway, this was a good match. Hopefully we get a rematch, even Stevens, that take them into Survivor Series. Next up, you got in the back, Zeb Coulter, and he's basically confronted by the returning Jack Swagger. I don't know. Don't call it a comeback. He's been there for years. It's just that he hasn't been on Raw, and if he has been on Raw, he's been Job Swagger, right? So he's in the back, and he's like questioning Zeb about what's going on. It's been a while, and he's very doubtful about the relationship he has. Well, the fact that he is the manager for Alberto Del Rio. He's like, man, you're talking crazy, basically. And it's like, okay, so Jack's still like, well, fuck that, fuck this whole togetherness crap. Zeb, let's still be racist. I hope that wasn't. It comes off that way, but I hope that wasn't. But it really reads like Jack is like, yeah, man, come on, man, we're still racist, bro. Hey, we're still racist, bro. And then Alberto shows up and he's like, hey, stay away from Zeb Coulter. It almost sounded like a kung fu flick, You stay away from Zeb Coulter. People like you are bad news. It's like what? This kung fu flick dialogue, but that's how that ends. He's just like, Zeb's like, fuck off, Jack. We out of here. And you leave. Jack Swagger just standing in the back, shaking his head like just still in doubt about what that relationship is. Yay, my Pacers won. Which results to a match. They head down to the ring, and it's Del Rio, and it's basically, Del Rio versus R-Truth, and which is a squash match. The only thing that's important about this match that Del Rio wins with the stomp again. I guess that's, come up with a name. Is that like the border crossing? Like, let's come up with a name for that fucking move. The border cross? I don't know, something dealing with like, I don't know, Mexicans crossing the border or something like that. I don't know. But he's yet to use that fucking arm breaker. He hasn't used it yet. That's something to keep in mind. Who does he use that arm breaker for? I guess he's going to hold that off until he meets up with Jack Swagger. New Day is in the back, and they want to join up with Rollins for the Fatal 4-Way. And it's always cool to see those, guys in the back, because to a certain extent, the gimmick of the New Day is that they're kind of annoying. But it's not that they're annoying because they're actually very, what's the word? They're like, they like to build self-esteem. They build the esteem of whoever heel they're in front of. And Seth Rollins, he's just like, oh my God, I do not want to deal with this shit. He's just that dynamic. But we get the return of Xavier Wood because he's like, well, fuck, you're in, but we need another person. And then we get the return of Xavier Wood. We hear the trombone, and I guess the trombone gimmick is still around. I thought it was done, but it's not. So the trombone returns along with Xavier Woods, and then Kofi Kingston and Big E are like, "You're the captain, whatever the fuck." And then Rollins is like, "Stop, stop." Then he starts to get down a little bit, which was pretty funny. And he stops and he walks off, and So New Day has joined with. So that's their 5-man team. It's the New Day, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. It jumps to another backstage segment with JoJo and Sasha Banks, and Banks just basically cuts a promo about how she's going to win and how she's the boss. We get the Fatal 4-Way, which is Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Paige, and Brie Bella. It's a Fatal 4-Way for the number 1 contendership. And lo and behold, Paige wins. Now, if you've been keeping up with the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast, or even me talking with Nathan Newman on the New Day podcast, I'm just like, well, Paige has been having her ass handed to her by Nikki Bella. How the hell are they going to work their way into her going after the belt when she's just not only lost to Nikki several times, but with the belt, she's lost to Nikki without the belt. So I thought they were going to build a feud maybe with her and Becky Lynch, as maybe they found a new contender for Charlotte, but they just threw them all in one pot, and even Becky to become the number 1 contender for that Divas belt. And it ends with Sasha Banks putting the bank statement on Becky Lynch. And Paige interrupting the bank statement, throwing Sasha Banks out of the ring, and then putting so many names, putting Becky Lynch in the Rampage, winning to become the number 1 contender. So the match is set for Survivor Series, Charlotte Flair versus Paige. The story in this match is more or less Becky Lynch just going after Paige whenever she got the opportunity. Just, stab me in the back, I'm going to come after you. And that's what that was. And I thought that was probably the cool part of the match. There's a big old spot. I mean, and it's probably one of the most inevitable spots in maybe like Fatal 4-Ways or Triple Threats whenever you're dealing with the Divas. You always got to get that spot where everyone's on the top rope or the top buckle, and one of the Divas have to get under and throw everyone down. I mean, it's impressive when you use it every once in a while, maybe once a year. But anytime you get a Fatal 4-Way or Triple Threat, that spot has to be there. It's an impressive spot. It's fun. But it's like, okay, is this the go-to holy shit moment of the night? This is awesome spot of the night? Not to me, man. I mean, I've seen it already, and they could have done without it. I guess it's fun for the live crowd again, but just as a wrestling fan, I'm just like, all right. I just sit watching those fucking Fatal 4-Ways and Triple Threats with Divas, just waiting for that spot. It's like, well, when is it going to happen? That shouldn't be, it just shouldn't be the case. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bitching at the move. I'm just saying, I don't want that predictability in a match for that spot. And then everyone's about to lose their shit. Holy shit, this is awesome. It's like, whatever. But yeah, Paige wins with the Rampage, and she's the number 1 contender. Soon shoots to Young and Flair in the back. And Flair just basically shoots on. It's a horrible promo, by the way. Horrible. She's just talking about how I deserve to be here. People just players call me baby Flair. I'm only here. Every time people say I'm here just because of my daddy, it makes me work that harder. I'm ready for Paige. Bring that ass on, bitch. Whatever. She's a placeholder. But I think she's going to hold that belt for a while. I mean, as a placeholder. Placeholder for a while. We get to the main event, which is Team Rollins versus Team Reigns. And we don't know who Reigns has got for his team yet. We saw backstage how Rollins collected his crew, his posse. But Team Reigns shows up. And first up is the returning Usos. The Usos have not been on TV as a tag team since before WrestleMania. And because Jay was hurt. And they're back, which made for a really cool. Why couldn't they do that with Harper? And Eric Rowan, you know? Everyone else gets a really cool return, and he doesn't. Well, anyway, you get returning Usos, you get Ryback, and then we got Dean Ambrose. So tonight we get two returns. We get Xavier Wood, and we get Jay Uso and the return of the Uso tag team, and they're both in one match, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we get Dean Ambrose. Surprise, surprise. Who didn't see Dean Ambrose coming out of that fucking shoot? So I'm just going to go through who eliminated who. Xavier Woods is eliminated by Jey Uso right from the fucking jump. I don't think it was like 15 seconds in the match before he took his ass out with a flying frog splash. Kofi Kingston is eliminated by Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso is eliminated by Big E. Owens eliminates Jimmy Uso. Big E is eliminated by Ryback. And Ryback is eliminated by Seth Rollins. Which is left with Ambrose, Reigns, Owens, and Rollins. So, yeah. Reigns, Ambrose, Owens, Rollins. And there's a spot, right, where I think Owens is just trying to be like a good teammate, good tag team teammate. And he's holding Ambrose. They're beating down Ambrose. And he's holding him, right? And he's like, come on, like, do something to him as he's holding him. But rather than basically, like, kick him in the gut or punch him in the face or just do something, come off the top rope or something, he proceeds to just do the bad guy talk. And Owens is like, come on, man, do something. Which results to Ambrose getting out of it, fights off a little bit, but then he gets, hemmed up again by Owens. And Rollins then jumps off the top buckle, finally. But Ambrose gets out of the way. Owens catches that flying knee. Then he gets put into the Dirty Deeds, and Ambrose eliminates Kevin Owens. And remember, he's been promised a title shot at WrestleMania, which now we're left with the Shield. Here we go. The Shield again, and the crowd is yelling, "You sold out! You sold out!" Right? And then he proceeds to try to retreat. Reigns gets in, and he's just doing any and everything possible to keep him in that ring and keep him from escaping. But it results to both Ambrose and Reigns getting attacked with a chair. Like old times. You remember how they broke up? Seth Rollins grabbed a chair and just beats the living shit out of both of them. Well, here we are again. And which ends at a DQ. The babyfaces win. Ryback, Usos, and Reigns. And Ambrose wins via DQ because Rollins is trying to escape. He can't escape, so it results to smacking him with the chair. And he's about to pick the bones to Roman Reigns and hit him with the chair some more because he hits him one more time before he tries to roll him into the ring. But he gets hit with a Superman punch, which gets him out the ring, and Roman Reigns stands in the ring tall, and that's how the motherfucking show ends. So, again, a good show. I hope I did it justice by this review. Good build up. I think this is so far, say the day after Hell in a Cell, tonight's show, even SmackDown, it's probably one of the best builds to a pay-per-view yet. Good storylines. Decent storylines. Maybe I don't agree with everything 100%, but still, it's like, just look at it. You get Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler. The Divas, the Paige heel turn, and her being the number one contender to Charlotte Flair. And you can see more ascension of the Sasha Banks character. You get Kevin Owens. He's becoming, more prevalent. We're seeing more Lucha Dragon and tag team action and winning. Cesaro gets a win here, but he's not really in a story quite yet. But we get the return of Jey Uso and the Usos. We got, I would imagine, I would definitely imagine that they're going to get a title shot at Survivor Series against the New Day. They'll do some fucking tournament somehow, and they'll win, and you get a title. But we got 2 weeks to build that. But nevertheless, man, anything I leave out in terms of just build, we look like we got a match with Jack Swagger and the returning Humberto Del Rio, and then the Wyatt family saga. Like, how is that going to play out? We got 2 weeks to see how the hell that's going to play out. So, overall, good show, good build so far. No complaints. Again, I don't agree with everything 100%, but no complaints. I much rather have a B plus show than a C minus show. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this fucker up. Thank you so much for checking this shit out. Sorry for the lateness. I don't feel tardy. Hit the description below. You can. This is the Peter's Raw recap is exclusively for YouTube, but along with the things on here, the New Day podcast, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, Peter Talks SmackDown. You can also listen to those on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and Podbean. Yes, we're now on Podbean and iTunes. So just Google Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. That's WRASSLIN. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. And all those options will probably show up on Google. Thumbs up, leave a comment, share. Do all those things. PJTW Central on Twitter. Again, that's PJTW Central. That's where you can catch tweets that I do sometime and whatnot. And you get updates for uploads of PJTW Central content. So tomorrow is Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. I think would be episode 64. I think it'd be 64. I may be wrong, but nevertheless, I hope you check that shit out. I think I'm going to do something different. Normally I just have the one big podcast, but I think I'm going to cut it up in segments. We'll see when we get there. So until then, watch out for those foreign objects. Peace.